Welcome to the Healing on Purpose podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Miriam Rahav. The content of this show is meant for informational purposes only and is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any illness or health condition. Please discuss all information shared herein with your own personal health authority. Links to the podcast and its YouTube channel will also be available on my practice website, rahavwellness.com. Please join me on my Facebook group, Healing on Purpose Podcast with Dr. Miriam Rahav, to continue this conversation. Enjoy the show. Shalom. It is such a beautiful word. It is such an amazing word. If you know what it means, if you have heard it, you may be familiar with the implications of a greeting, the implications of peace, but it also describes being whole. And there's this incredible wisdom and concept held within the word as we greet each other to be in peace because we are whole. Never before has the need for us to be restored to our wholeness and to our peace more poignant when it is rent asunder. We are now in such a time, and therefore it is a time to speak again from my heart to yours about the intentional act of healing on purpose in a time where more than ever we yearn to be whole as a response to what has been an act of fission. Fission is an act or process of splitting into parts. You may be familiar with the term nuclear fission, taking a cell, each of us being a cell of humanity, comprising the human race, and where a human cell is rent asunder, split into parts, just like nuclear fission. It releases a tremendous amount of energy, a wave of destruction, a wave of shock, a wave of horror that we cannot assimilate. It is a force of entropy. It is death. The response necessarily must be a return to wholeness, a return to peace, a return to shalom. Chazara l'shalom. That is an act of fusion, the merging of the different elements, be they fragments of our own broken heart, be they fractured elements of society, be they a nation or nations coming together. It is the natural response, the response of fusion, the impulse to unity. It is an act of creation, just as a sperm and egg fuse in together to create the infinite power of life. It is the force of creation. It is the force of love. It is the force of union. It is the unified field of unconditional love that is the force of creation, that is divine, that is what makes the world go round and is the invitation. As a response to fission, there must be fusion. Fusion is the act of creation. Fusion is infinite. Life is infinite. Fission is finite. Fission is destructive. It cannot last, although we all shudder in its power. And then find the greater power within ourselves because we are encoded by fusion itself. We are each products of fusion. It is the ineffable and intuitive and only homing signal that will ever stand the test of time. It is absolute. It is encoded into our very DNA is the fusion of code from mother, father, come together into the creative force that is what we call it. You may call it God. You may call it creation. It is fusion. It is you. And you are me. And we are them and they are us. And we are all together. Shalom. Thanks for listening to the Healing on Purpose podcast today. I hope you found this information helpful, and I encourage you to share this episode with others who may also benefit from the information shared. Please consider rating and reviewing my podcast on Apple Podcasts so more people can find this information. I also invite you to join the Healing on Purpose podcast Facebook group to continue this conversation. I'll see you there.